Did you know that the very food you choose for strength might be silently stealing it away from your kidneys?
Her name is Clara, and for most of her 72 years, her hands were her story. They'd planted 3 rows of prize-winning roses that kissed the morning sun. They'd kneaded the dough for her granddaughter's favorite cinnamon rolls, and they'd held her late husband's hand on 1,000 evening walks. But lately, her hands and the rest of her body felt like they belonged to a stranger. The story of her decline didn't start with a bang. It was a whisper. It began with the roses, kneeling in the soft earth. A ritual that once grounded her, now sent a dull, aching protest through her back and left her ankles puffy for days. The doctors called it fluid retention, a symptom of her high blood pressure and the early stages of kidney strain. For Clara, it felt like being put under house arrest. Her beautiful garden, once a sanctuary, was becoming a landscape of limitations. She was a woman, defined by her energy, by her doing. She was the one who insisted on walking to the local market, who organized the neighborhood potluck, who never missed a chance to have her granddaughter, Lily, over for a weekend of baking. But now, the energy was gone, replaced by a profound, bone-deep weariness that sleep couldn't fix. The symptoms were dismantling her identity, piece by piece. The walks with her friend became shorter, punctuated by pauses to admire the view, a gentle lie to hide her breathlessness. Baking days with Lily were the hardest. She'd start strong, measuring the flour, the scent of cinnamon filling the kitchen with memories. But an hour in, she'd have to sit, a forced spectator in her own life, watching Lily's small hands do the work her body no longer could. The worst moment came on a Tuesday. A perfectly ordinary Tuesday. She was sitting in her favorite armchair, the afternoon sun warming the room, a book resting unread in her lap, and a single, devastating thought surfaced from the quiet despair. I am disappearing. The world will keep spinning. The roses will still need pruning, and Lily will learn to bake on her own. I am becoming a memory before I'm even gone. It wasn't a thought of self-pity, but one of stark, terrifying clarity. She closed her eyes, but then, something shifted. Her gaze drifted to the mantelpiece, to that photograph of her in the garden. She saw the strength in that woman's smile, the dirt under her fingernails, the sheer joy of a life fully lived. That woman wouldn't just sit here. That woman would fight. A quiet defiance began to bubble up inside her. It wasn't a roar. It was a firm, steady whisper that said, "No, not yet. The story of these hands is not over." Her fight didn't begin with a miracle cure. It began in the kitchen. It began with a decision to understand why her body was failing her, to learn that the food on her plate was either a poison or a medicine. She started small, making changes her doctor had mentioned, but that she had dismissed as minor. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the tide began to turn. The morning walks with her friend stretched a little longer. The swelling in her ankles began to recede. And one glorious Saturday, the scent of cinnamon and sugar filled her home. And this time, Clara was standing right beside Lily, her hands dusted with flour, guiding the rolling pin from start to finish. It wasn't about baking a perfect cinnamon roll. It was about reclaiming a piece of her soul. Clara's story isn't about a magical reversal. It's about the profound power we have, right in our own kitchens, to change the course of our health. Her journey of reclaiming her life is possible for you, too. It's not about deprivation or complicated rules. It's about understanding. It's about knowing which foods build you up and which ones are silently tearing you down.
Clara's story is a powerful reminder that our daily choices have immense power. Many of us, especially those over 60 managing conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes, are told to eat more protein to stay strong. But what if I told you that some of the most common protein sources, even some you think are healthy, could be the very things overloading your kidneys and speeding up damage? The good news is knowledge is power. Today we're going to walk through a journey of discovery together. We are going to uncover the protective proteins that can shield your kidneys and the hidden saboteurs that you need to avoid. We'll build from foundational knowledge to some truly surprising truths, and you absolutely must stay with me until the very end, because our final insight, the game-changing revelation, is one that could radically alter how you approach your health every single day. It's something many seniors are doing with the best intentions without realizing the potential harm. But first, a quick and important reminder. All the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or a registered dietitian before making any significant changes to your diet. Let's use this knowledge to have informed discussions with them. All right, are you ready? Let's begin our journey by looking at our first foundational guideline. Foundational guideline: avoiding red meat. Let's start with a protein source that's a cornerstone of the traditional American diet: red meat. For generations, a steak or a pork chop was seen as the very symbol of a hearty, strength-building meal. The conflict, especially for those of us over 60, is that while we need protein for muscle maintenance, red meat presents a heavy burden for aging kidneys. The issue isn't just the protein itself, but the type of protein and everything that comes with it. To understand why, let's use an analogy. Imagine your kidneys are like a very sophisticated fine mesh filter in a high-end coffee machine. This filter is designed to let the good stuff, the rich, flavorful coffee, pass through while catching the waste grounds. When you eat proteins that are easy to metabolize, like the ones we'll discuss later, it's like using a finely ground coffee bean. The filter does its job with ease, but consuming a lot of red meat is like trying to force coarse, heavy grounds through that same delicate filter. Red meat metabolism produces high amounts of waste products like urea and creatinine. For kidneys that are already working with less efficiency due to age or other health conditions, this heavy load of waste grounds can cause them to get clogged, strained, and damaged over time. Therefore, this constant high-pressure work accelerates their decline. The solution isn't necessarily zero red meat forever, but a significant reduction. A study in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that individuals with the highest red meat consumption had a 40% greater risk of developing kidney failure. As a result, even swapping out one serving of red meat per day with a different protein source made a significant difference. By treating red meat as an occasional indulgence rather than a daily staple, you give that delicate filter, your kidneys, a much-needed break. The obvious offender: fast food burgers and fried chicken. Next, let's talk about something that likely won't surprise you, but its danger cannot be overstated: the fast food drive-thru. Those burgers and fried chicken meals are a double, even triple threat to kidney health. The problem is that these foods are a perfect storm of kidney-damaging ingredients. You're not just getting protein, you're getting a massive dose of sodium, unhealthy saturated and trans fats, and hidden phosphate additives all in one meal. A single fast food burger can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's more than half the daily recommended limit for someone on a kidney-friendly diet. Let's think about this with another analogy. Picture your blood vessels as a network of garden hoses. When everything is healthy, water flows through them at a normal, gentle pressure. Now imagine you crank the spigot all the way up. That's what excessive sodium does. It causes your body to retain water, dramatically increasing your blood volume and blood pressure. This high pressure blasts through the delicate hoses inside your kidneys, causing scarring and damage over time. But it gets worse. The oils used for deep frying create compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are inflammatory molecules that act like rust inside your pipes, causing even more damage. Therefore, a meal of fried chicken isn't just a one-time salty indulgence. It's an inflammatory event that actively harms your kidney tissue. The payoff for your health comes from making the simple, conscious decision to skip the drive-thru. Preparing a homemade turkey burger on a whole wheat bun, or baking chicken coated in herbs at home, gives you the satisfaction you crave without the assault of salt, unhealthy fats, and phosphates. This is a clear case where a little planning at home pays massive dividends for your long-term kidney health. The hidden saboteur: processed meats. All right, we've covered red meat and fast food. Now let's move into territory that can be a bit trickier: processed meats. I'm talking about hot dogs, bacon, sausages, and pepperoni. These are often seen as convenient, quick sources of flavor and protein. The conflict is that the very processing that makes these meats convenient is what makes them so dangerous for your kidneys. The main culprits are the astronomical levels of sodium, nitrates, and, most importantly, inorganic phosphate additives used for preservation and flavor. Think of your body's relationship with minerals as a finely balanced scale. Natural phosphorus, found in whole foods, is absorbed moderately. Your body takes what it needs and discards the rest. But the inorganic phosphate additives in processed meats are like lead weights being slammed onto one side of the scale. They are almost 100% absorbed into your bloodstream. For someone with compromised kidneys, the body can't remove this excess phosphate. As a result, it starts to cause chaos, pulling calcium from your bones, making them brittle, and hardening your blood vessels. Many leading nutritionists agree that these phosphate additives are one of the most aggressive accelerators of kidney disease progression. Therefore, the choice to cut out processed meats is one of the most protective things you can do. It's not just about cutting back on salt. It's about stopping these harmful, highly absorbable additives from ever entering your system. Swapping bacon for a sprinkle of smoked paprika on your eggs, or a sausage patty for a seasoned, lean ground turkey patty, you make yourself removes these hidden saboteurs from your diet. The protective powerhouse, omega-3 rich fish. Now that we've covered some key proteins to avoid, let's pivot to the foods you should be embracing. And our first protective powerhouse is fish, but with a very important distinction. We're talking about fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids. The primary challenge for aging kidneys is chronic low-grade inflammation. It's like a constant smoldering fire that slowly damages the delicate filtering units. Many protein sources, especially red and processed meats, can actually add fuel to this fire. Here's where omega-3s come in. To truly grasp how this works, imagine that inflammation is like static on a radio, making the signal, your body's communication, unclear and distorted. Omega-3 fatty acids act like a powerful noise-cancelling technology. They actively turn down the dial on that inflammatory static, protecting your kidney filters from damage and scarring. In fact, several studies have shown that in people with kidney disease, regular consumption of omega-3s from fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines can lead to lower proteinuria. That's less protein leaking into the urine, a key sign of kidney damage. But, and this is crucial, preparation is everything. If you take a beautiful piece of salmon and fry it in unhealthy oil or douse it in a salty pre-made marinade, you cancel out the benefits. Therefore, the best approach is to bake, grill, or steam your fish. Season it with lemon, dill, garlic powder, and other herbs. Aim for 2 servings of fatty fish a week. Even canned salmon or sardines, packed in water, no salt added, are excellent budget-friendly options. This isn't just a protein swap, it's a therapeutic food choice that actively fights for your kidney health. The pure protein secret, egg whites. Our next protective food is one of the cleanest, most kidney-friendly protein sources on the planet, egg whites. For many with kidney concerns, there's a constant balancing act, getting enough protein to prevent muscle loss, known as sarcopenia, without overloading the kidneys with waste products, particularly phosphorus. The egg yolk, while nutritious, is very rich in phosphorus. Here's the secret of the egg white. It's almost pure, high-quality protein with virtually no phosphorus or fat. Let's use an analogy. Think of your daily phosphorus limit as a small budget you have to spend. A whole egg costs a lot of that budget. Eating just the egg white is like getting the highest quality product, the protein, for almost free, leaving your phosphorus budget available for other nutritious foods. A single large egg white gives you about 3.6 grams of high-quality protein with less than 20 milligrams of phosphorus. A whole egg has over 60 times more phosphorus from the yolk. For kidney health, that difference is monumental. But what about cholesterol? Many people grew up fearing eggs because of cholesterol. It's a well-regarded principle now, however, that the cholesterol concern was primarily linked to the yolk. The egg white contains no cholesterol. Therefore, enjoying scrambled egg whites or an omelette made with 1 whole egg and 2 or 3 extra whites is an incredibly safe and effective strategy. It's a simple hack to get the protein you need to stay strong while placing the absolute minimum strain on your kidneys. The gentle giant, tofu. If egg whites are the cleanest animal protein, then tofu is their plant-based counterpart. For many in the United States, tofu might seem unfamiliar, but it is a true gentle giant when it comes to kidney health. The challenge with many plant-based proteins like beans and lentils is that they can be high in potassium and phosphorus, which need to be carefully managed in a kidney-friendly diet. Tofu, made from soybeans, provides a fantastic solution. It delivers what's known as a complete protein, meaning it has all 9 essential amino acids, but with very manageable levels of those minerals. Think of it this way. Red meat is like a loud, boisterous guest at a party. It makes a big entrance and leaves a big mess for the host, your kidneys, to clean up. Tofu, on the other hand, is like a quiet, helpful guest. It provides everything you need, great conversation, or in this case, high-quality protein, and then slips out without leaving any mess behind. Research suggests that swapping animal protein for soy protein like tofu may even help reduce proteinuria, actively protecting the kidneys. But many people are unsure how to use it or are worried about myths surrounding soy and hormones. The consensus among wellness professionals suggests that moderate consumption of whole soy foods like tofu is perfectly safe and beneficial, and its versatility is its strength. You can cube it into a stir-fry with low-sodium sauce, crumble it like ground meat, or blend silken tofu into a smoothie for a creamy protein boost. As a result, it's a wonderful, gentle way to meet your protein needs. The ancient grain wonder quinoa. Let's talk about a protein source you might not even think of as a protein source: quinoa. This ancient grain is a true wonder food for kidney support. The problem for many on a kidney-friendly diet is finding foods that are both satisfying and safe. White rice is low in minerals but can spike blood sugar. Other whole grains can be too high in phosphorus. Quinoa exists in a perfect middle ground. Unlike almost any other grain, quinoa is a complete protein. A single cooked cup provides around 8 grams of it. Its real magic, however, is its gentle metabolic effect. Think of your body's acid-base balance like the pH of a swimming pool. It needs to stay in a very narrow, neutral range to be healthy. Animal proteins are highly acidic, forcing your kidneys to work overtime to buffer that acid and keep the pool from becoming toxic. Quinoa, being plant-based, produces a much lower acid load. It helps keep the water clean and clear without overworking the pool filter, your kidneys. But what about oxalates? Some worry that quinoa is high in oxalates, which can contribute to kidney stones. While it does contain them, the content is moderate, and you can wash most of them away by rinsing the quinoa thoroughly under running water before you cook it. Therefore, for the vast majority of people, its benefits, providing complete protein, fiber, and magnesium, with a lower phosphorus load than even beans or lentils, far outweigh any risk. Using quinoa as a substitute for rice or as a base for a salad is a fantastic modern strategy for kidney health. The deceptive swap: turkey bacon and deli meats. Now we're getting into the truly surprising territory. This next category includes foods that many people turn to thinking they are making a healthier choice: turkey bacon and sliced deli meats. The conflict here is a classic case of health halo marketing. You see turkey and think lean. You see sliced chicken for a sandwich and think healthy protein. But the truth is, these are often just as bad, if not worse, for your kidneys than their pork-based counterparts. Why? The danger isn't the turkey itself, it's the processing. To make these products taste good and last on the shelf, they are absolutely loaded with sodium and phosphate additives. Let's use an analogy. Imagine your daily sodium limit is a small bucket that you can fill. A few slices of regular bacon might fill it halfway. You might assume turkey bacon only fills it a quarter of the way. In reality, some brands of turkey bacon contain more sodium than regular bacon, overflowing your bucket in a single meal. A single deli meat sandwich can easily top 1,000 milligrams of sodium. This is one of the key truths about food that often isn't highlighted but is essential for vitality. The low-fat label means nothing if the product is preserved with a tidal wave of salt and phosphates. Therefore, this deceptive swap can silently sabotage your efforts to manage blood pressure and protect your kidneys. The payoff comes from choosing fresh, over-processed every time. Cook an extra chicken breast at dinner and slice it yourself for sandwiches the next day. You get all the protein and flavor, but you control the salt. It's a simple shift that dismantles this deceptive health trap. The pantry trap: canned beans with salt and additives. This next one is another healthy food with a hidden dark side. Beans are fantastic. They are packed with fiber and plant protein, but the canned versions can be a major pantry trap for anyone concerned with kidney health. Here's the problem. A single cup of standard canned beans can pack 400 to 600 milligrams of sodium. Flavored varieties like baked beans are even worse, with added sugars and corn syrup. And just like with processed meats, many canned goods use phosphate additives to preserve texture and color. Think of a beautiful, fresh-picked strawberry. It's bursting with nutrients. Now, imagine that strawberry is preserved in a thick, sugary syrup with chemical additives. It's still a strawberry, but its health benefits have been compromised by the processing. Canned beans are the same. You start with a wonderfully healthy food, but by the time it's processed with salt, sugar, and preservatives, it has become a potential burden on your kidneys. But there is a very simple solution, which makes this trap easy to avoid once you know the secret. If you must use canned beans, always buy the no salt added version. And even then, pour them into a colander and rinse them under running water for at least 30 seconds. This simple act can wash away up to 40% of the lingering sodium. Therefore, an even better option is to buy dried beans. Soaking and cooking them at home gives you all the nutritional benefits with zero additives. You are in complete control. This small habit, rinsing canned beans or cooking dried ones, allows you to enjoy this incredible food without falling into the pantry trap. The game-changing revelation: protein powders and shakes. And that brings us to our number one most crucial insight. This is the one I asked you to wait for, because it's a danger that hides in plain sight, often disguised as the ultimate health solution: commercial protein powders and shakes. For so many of us, especially as we age, the message is clear. You need more protein to fight muscle loss. It's a valid concern. And what seems easier than a quick scoop of powder in a glass of water or a pre-made shake? This is where the danger lies. The problem is twofold: the sheer concentration of the protein and the hidden additives. Imagine your kidneys are a small local post office. On a normal day, they can handle the regular flow of mail, waste from Whole Foods, just fine. Taking a large dose of a protein supplement is like having 3 massive mail trucks pull up at once and dump thousands of unexpected packages on the loading dock. The system is completely overwhelmed. This massive, sudden load of protein creates a surge of nitrogenous waste that your kidneys are forced to filter under extreme pressure, accelerating their decline. But it's not just the protein load. A study in nephrology dialysis transplantation highlighted these risks. Furthermore, to make these products taste good, they are often loaded with phosphate additives, artificial sweeteners, thickeners, and other chemicals. These are the same harmful phosphates we talked about in processed meats, and they are incredibly damaging to your blood vessels and bones. Therefore, for anyone with even mild kidney compromise, or those simply wishing to protect their kidneys for the long haul, relying on these supplements can be one of the fastest ways to cause harm. Now, when it comes to a major dietary shift like this, it's especially important for us to approach it with awareness. If you have been advised by a doctor or dietitian to use a specific renal supplement due to poor appetite or a diagnosed deficiency, you must follow their guidance. Our goal here is empowerment through knowledge for the general population. The safest and most effective strategy is to get your protein from whole foods first: the egg whites, the fish, the tofu, and the quinoa we've discussed. These provide protein packaged with fiber and micronutrients, which allows your body to process it gently and naturally. This is our game-changing revelation. It's the understanding that the quick fix is often a hidden burden. Real, lasting health is built not in a factory, but in your kitchen. And there you have it. It might seem surprising that something marketed for health could be so risky, but the impact of avoiding this trap is truly remarkable, which is why we built up to it as our grand reveal. We've covered so much ground today, from our foundational guideline on red meat, building up through each valuable insight like avoiding the pantry trap of canned beans and embracing the protective powerhouse of fish, all the way to our game-changing revelation about protein powders. Each one is a stepping stone to a more vibrant, kidney-healthy you. Which of these insights resonated with you the most? Perhaps it was learning about the deceptive swap with turkey bacon, or maybe our final revelation was a real eye-opener. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. If you found this journey valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies to live a longer, healthier life. Until next time, Stay healthy, stay curious, and remember that every choice you make is a powerful step towards protecting your incredible body.